What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Alexas. Today we're going to do some more championship score predictions for this weekend's games. We have not only got a crucial derby between Ipswich and Norwich to predict, but we have three games that are really going to determine the consequences of the relegation battle. I am really excited to actually predict all of these fixtures. As always guys, you can get involved by predicting these weekend's games for the championship in the comments down below, and you can then be entered in the Let's Alexis Football Prediction League. For the Premier League, my predictions on the left hand side of the screen right now. If you guys want to predict the Premier League games, you can, just for a little bit of fun. They won't count towards my prediction league, but I always encourage you guys to get involved in terms of predicting the Premier League as well. If you guys enjoy this series, please smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Thank you so much for the terrific support for a midweek video. I really do appreciate it. 50 likes again is the target. If we can get that, that'll be absolutely amazing. Please do hit the subscribe button if you're not done so. It really does help the growth of this channel as well. Again, thank you for the terrific support last video. A lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers, so thank you guys so much for that. And please also share the video too. All these things really do help the growth of this channel. But without any further ado, let's start predicting these weekend's games. I mean, what a game to start this off. Ipswich versus Norwich. The East Anglia derby returns for the first time since 2019. It's been 4 long years since this derby has been a competitive fixture within the EFL, let alone the Championship. And honestly, it is a very tense but also a bit of an exciting atmosphere with working in Ipswich in the moment. Everyone's like quietly really excited for this game, but a lot of pressure. And honestly, Norwich, I think, will go into this game really desperate to get a result. And for Ipswich fans, all they want is Ipswich to play as they are, to really go at Norwich and to really just thrive with their attacking play at home. Ipswich by far have got the best home record out of any team in the EFL, so Norwich are not going to find it easy. Norwich did have poor form, but they did manage to get back to winning ways, beating Sheffield Wednesday by 3-1. Could that be a turning point in their season? Quite potentially. Ashley Barnes going to the score sheet for the first time since he returned from injury. So I think this Norwich squad is now starting to piece together the team that started originally quite well in this season. And I think they'll give Ipswich a really big test. Sam Morsy will be playing in this game as well. He was 1 yellow card away actually to get a 2-game ban. Since he actually already got 5 yellow cards, which would have got him a 1-game ban, 10 yellow cards he would have had in total if he got booked in his game against Watford for a 2-game ban. He didn't. He will be featured in this game. He even scored a match winner as well. So he absolutely was crucial in Ipswich's performance and win against Watford, where it was a bit tricky for them, but they really stuck within the game, actually nullified Watford very well, and still got 3 points. With this game here, I think it's going to be very open. I think it's going to be an entertaining hoot. It could either be that or a damp squib, and it could be a 0-0. But I think we're going to see a 5-goal thriller. And I'm going to go for a 3-2 home win to Ipswich. I think the blue side of the East Anglian clubs are going to get the result. I think it'll be Ipswich that wins this one, but only by 1-goal margin. I think Norwich are going to make it very competitive and very tight. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For the rest of the games, I'm really excited equally to predict them as well. Let's go for Bristol City versus Sunderland next. Bristol City are going into this weekend after losing their midweek game against Blackburn Rovers. Initially, Bristol City did actually improve when they went behind against Blackburn. Blackburn managed to take the lead pretty early on in the second half, and I'll be speaking about how John Dale Thomason managed to organise Blackburn very well to actually get them to that lead. Bristol City, unfortunately, I felt just reacted a bit too late, and they didn't really do enough in the beginning part of a portion of the game to really set them apart. Sunderland, I'm telling you this, are picking up some terrific results. They've not confirmed their new manager as of yet, but my goodness me, 2 tough games since dismissing Tony Mowbray with West Brom and Leeds United, and they've won 2 out of 2 of those games, and this is against playoff rivals as well, and that has meant that Sunderland are now staying consistently within this top 6 currently, and they really could still be a team that really will still be up there go near the end of the season if they carry this up. A prediction in this game, I've got a little bit more faith with Sunderland going into this game, I can't lie, with the options that they got. I am going to go for a 2-1 away victory to Sunderland. It's got that feeling where Bristol City may start alright, but then Sunderland grow into it and then they'll get a result. So I think that is what's going to happen, and I'm thinking Sunderland will win by 2-1. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Hull versus Cardiff. Two very different results for both of these clubs in the midweek. So Hull City, they had the late game yesterday against Middlesbrough, and they beat them by 2-1. It was Ozan Tufan who managed to get the winning goal for Hull City in the end. And honestly, Hull City going into this game were going under a little bit of pressure. Their form had started to take a little bit of a dip. They weren't consistently getting results as they were at the start of the season, but that result against Middlesbrough was absolutely crucial, and it still keeps them within the conversation getting into that top 6 place. They're 7th place right now. Cardiff City, they were also within the conversation within the top 6, but they are also struggling with their form, but they're struggling more so than what Hull are right now, because Cardiff have lost 3 out of their last 4, and as a result Cardiff are now down to 10th place in the table. So Cardiff definitely at this moment of time are struggling. They go through a really tough period of their season, and unfortunately, whilst I do like some players in that Cardiff team, I think Hull are going to be the side that are most likely to get a result. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Hull City. I think this one will be the most likely outcome. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Leeds versus Coventry. This is going to be interesting. So Leeds have gone on the 7-game unbeaten run. They lost it this midweek against Sunderland, and a pretty damning defeat. It was a game where they didn't score a goal, where that I think has only happened only a couple of times this season. The last time I can recall with that definitely happening was against Sheffield Wednesday, when they were unable to score past them. So it's pretty rare for a Daniel Farke's side to not even score a goal, let alone not pick up 3 points. Coventry, they picked up a draw against Southampton, kind of steadying along a little bit, only 1 defeat in 5. So Coventry are now starting to improve their form a bit, and I think they're now slowly but surely starting to enter the conversation of entering the top half of the table, and they will be in the top half of the table if they do get a good result here. But Leeds at Ellen Road this year have been absolutely dynamic. They are up there with Ipswich with one of the best home forms in the league, and I do think that's going to carry them a little bit of an edge in this game. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Leeds. I think again it's going to be close. I think Coventry are starting to improve their goal scoring, so I think they could get 1 goal out of it. But I think it's going to be Leeds that edge out with a win. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So the next game to predict is Millwall versus Huddersfield. Now, this was one of the 3 games I mentioned in my intro that I think is going to have a huge impact with the bottom 3. So Millwall currently are outside of the bottom 3, but honestly, with 4 defeats in their last 5 games, they are only 1 point above QPR, which is really scary for them, and they could drop in there. And what's even worse, Huddersfield are 21st, also on 21 points. If this is not a must-win game for both of these sides, I don't know what is. It really could catapult one of these sides with a good amount of breathing space from the bottom 3, but it could also really leave either one of these sides in tremendous danger, and both of these sides in danger if they both draw in this game. Millwall lost out against Leicester, and I've got to say, they did take the lead and they did go into half time with the lead, but Leicester really came with all guns blazing in that second half, and Millwall, unfortunately for them, couldn't really cope with it at all. They managed to make it salvageable, and they only lost by 3-2 in the end, but it wasn't going to be. Huddersfield, they definitely had one of the more poor results within midweek after they lost to Preston North End by 3-1, which was a Preston side who were struggling for form. And I've given them confidence where Preston was starting to teeter down the table a bit. With this game, my goodness me, this is a tough one. I am struggling to predict this one because I think Millwall are slowly but surely starting to get a bit more consistently scoring goals, but I do have a few issues with them defensively. Huddersfield will feel more likely that they will just try and nullify Millwall and just try and hit them off the break or something. But gosh, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Huddersfield take the lead and then Millwall equalise. I think that is what's going to happen. And therefore, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it's going to be a very unhelpful result for both of these sides. I just see a draw happening here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Plymouth versus Rotherham. So this is the second game out of the 3 games, which I think is going to be very crucial within the bottom 3 as well. So Plymouth are on 23 points. So they've, to be fair, have got a 3-point gap from QPR because they did manage to pick up 1 point in the end, and actually picking up an away point as well against QPR. A brilliant result in my opinion, but Plymouth would have felt they should have got more. They missed some crucial chances in that game. Rotherham, they've now got a new manager, Liam Richardson, who I'm pleased to see back because I thought he was pretty unfairly dismissed last season when he was steadying Wigan's chances of surviving in the Championship last year. So I'm pleased he's been given another chance to be a Championship manager. He was given a pretty tough start though against high-flying West Brom, and ultimately West Brom won very comfortably in the end by 2-0. This is definitely a more winnable game for Liam Richardson and Rotherham, but Rotherham do sit at the bottom of the Championship currently on 13 points. Plymouth's home form that has been the majority of their points this season. I think it's over 80% of Plymouth's points actually have come from home games, and I really do think Plymouth could potentially get a really crucial result. If they win this, they could have a chance to have a 6-point gap from the bottom 3, which will be absolutely huge. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a Plymouth 2-1 win. I think Plymouth could squeak it here, but Rotherham are going to make it very competitive, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Preston versus Watford. So both teams with differing results again. Preston, they managed to pick up all 3 points against Huddersfield Town. A brilliant performance by the captain Alan Brown, by the way, who was definitely in the thick of a lot of the attacking play for Preston in that game. Watford, they lost out against Ipswich by 2-1 in the end. They did take an early lead, but they did throw all 3 points, and it's quite rare actually that I've noticed that Watford typically do not drop points from winning positions. So it's more and more credit for Ipswich for being able to complete the comeback, but Watford were very surprisingly quite poor actually when they went behind. When they went ahead, and especially actually when the draw was in the mix, I thought Watford actually played very well. I think the result was actually a little bit damning to how well they performed, and I think the draw would have been the fairest result based on the balance of the game. I think with this game here, if Watford do play anything that's similar that they did against Ipswich for a larger proportion, I think they'll beat Preston here. Even though that Preston got that win against Huddersfield, it did have that feeling to me that Huddersfield really didn't turn up and Preston did turn up. And I do feel with the intensities of the squads and the talent that it contains, I think if Watford do show a smidge of what they did against Ipswich there, I think they could beat Preston here. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to Watford. I think they could go back to winning ways, and that's typically what their form has been actually, been a little bit inconsistent. So it wouldn't surprise me actually if Watford bounced back. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Sheffield Wednesday versus QPR. Now this is the final game which I think is going to have a tremendous impact on the bottom 3 because it is literally 23rd against 22nd place. My goodness me. Sheffield Wednesday could close the gap on QPR to 4 points if they beat them here. And this will be a crucial time for Sheffield Wednesday to try and close the distance from the bottom three, to be quite honest. And actually in their last 2 home games have produced some positive results. A draw against Leicester and a win against Blackburn Rovers. Definitely I feel Sheffield Wednesday with their results are going in the right direction. It did hit a bit of a speed bump though against Norwich. They did well to equalise, but ultimately the attacking power for Norwich just kind of blew them away a little bit. QPR, they had won 3 games in a row going into midweek, but they did lose out on winning against Plymouth, despite Plymouth going down to 10 men pretty early on. And I think that denied Plymouth's chances of potentially getting something in that game, and I think it was just survival football. So great character for Plymouth, but arguably a little bit poor and lackluster for QPR. They'll be wanting to get a response in this game, and as a prediction, in all honesty, if players like Willock and Chair can play as well as they did in the weekend, I think they'll get a result here. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to QPR. I think with the firepower that they've got, I think Sheffield Wednesday will be able to score. I think they've been scoring a bit more consistently, but I do think their defence still needs a bit of work, and I think QPR can exploit it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Southampton versus Blackburn. Now, I see goals within this game. Southampton picked up a draw against Coventry. Arguably a good result for Southampton not to lose in that game, considering they were behind in this game, so they did manage to equalise, but they didn't quite have enough time to look for that winner, which could be quite disappointing for them. Blackburn, they managed to win their midweek game by 2-1 in the end. It was made a little bit nervy when Bristol City got back into it, but it ended by 2-1, and actually, to be fair, it was a good result for Blackburn, because now they're entering back in the conversation within the top 6 and only 2 points behind Sunderland. So a good result for Blackburn here could really start seeing them crawl up the table. But realistically, I think the effectiveness of Southampton finding the ball in the back of the net currently, I think is going to overcome Blackburn's threat, which, to be fair, Blackburn in transition have looked pretty good. But for me, I've got a bit more faith in this Southampton side. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 home victory to Southampton. I think that with the options that they got, I think they could take the game away from Blackburn. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Swansea versus Middlesbrough. Swansea managed to pick up a very last minute draw against Stoke City. It did look like that Stoke were going to pick up their first win, I believe, in 5 games. And actually, going into this one, it was the first goal that Stoke scored in their last 4 games, which is insane, to be quite honest. But Harry Darling managed to equalise in the 89th minute from a corner. And did feel a bit against the run of play by the looks of things with the stats, but fair play to Swansea for still fighting back and still finding a result despite not even playing at your best, arguably. Middlesbrough, they've got a lot of work to do. I know Middlesbrough have had tough games, I'm not ignoring that, but they have lost 3 games in a row, and it's not good considering that Middlesbrough are a team desperate to try and get into that competitive top 6 place, because right now Middlesbrough are in the bottom half of the table due to their recent dip in form. And I do think against Swansea, it's no easy feat. You know, I don't think you're going to get 3 points guaranteed here. I do think Swansea have got a bit about them at home especially. And as a prediction, I wouldn't be surprised if both these teams draw a blank. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't think either team will get 3 points there. I see this a game being an occasion where both teams will cancel each other out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is West Brom versus Stoke. This would have been a Premier League game a couple of years ago, but definitely now it's looking like a very steady championship fixture. And West Brom definitely doing better out of the 2 sides at this moment of time. They picked up a very comfortable win against Rotherham, beating them by 2-0. I mean, what a free kick by Jed Wallace, by the way. I don't know if you saw it, but just outside the box, hitting the underside of the crossbar in. No goalkeeper is saying that. Even Victor Johansson, who's arguably been one of the best goalkeepers in the championship this season. With Stoke, obviously, they dismissed Alex Neil on the Monday. They have not got anyone in at the moment, but they are interviewing candidates. And I've got to say, the people that are linked with the Stoke job do excite me potentially, but I feel like a lot of the time we say this a lot of the time when Stoke get a new manager in, they get someone in with promise, but they can't overturn what's lurking within that squad. So it's going to be a tough job for any manager to fix whatever Stoke have got at the moment. But it was a draw against Swansea. Probably should have picked up all 3 points based on how late in the game they took the lead. So I do think the Stoke side is running low on confidence, and I do think West Brom are going to exploit that. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to the Baddies. I think they'll pick up another win, and it will mean that they still carry on the competitiveness to try and maintain some ground to get within that top 6. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The final game to predict is Birmingham versus Leicester City. Birmingham still struggling for form, struggling for points under Wayne Rooney, but they picked up a crucial midweek result, beating Cardiff by 1-0. Junior Bacuna with the only goal for Birmingham, and it is Birmingham's first away win under Wayne Rooney, and that potentially eases the pressure a little bit for Wayne Rooney a little bit, because Birmingham are now up to 16th and now not looking so dangerous to be potentially falling within the bottom 3. They've got a 6-point gap from QPR. Now it's going to be interesting to see if they maintain that form. I do, however, think it's going to be tough because Leicester City are proving to be an incredible side. Both Leicester and Ipswich have had the best starts after 20 games out of any team in the Championship in history. To be on 52 points after 21 games being played is unheard of. And honestly, even when Leicester fell behind against Millwall and went into half-time a goal down, their response after going behind was sensational. They got back in front within 4 minutes of that second half. It's insane how quickly they can turn a game around. And honestly, even if Birmingham do score early or score first, you just expect that inevitability of Leicester getting something. And as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to Leicester. It probably sounds a bit boring at this point, but right now, Ipswich and Leicester just seem to keep winning, so I'm going to keep predicting both of these sides to win. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, these are my predictions for the Championship now concluded. Obviously guys, you can get involved as well by predicting those games in the comments down below. You can predict those games and you can be entered in a Leicester Football Prediction League for free, and the winner of that league will get a prize at the end of the season. That'll wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe and share. All of these things really do help the growth of this channel. And I'm pleased to say, after this video, literally only a couple of days after this video comes out, I've got a holiday, so I might be able to have a little bit more time on this channel. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary. Saw the end of this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.